Many religions, critics, and natural philosophers agree that at the center of everything that has ever existed lies a tree. That tree, given countless names throughout history, forms the very foundation of the cosmos. The branches and roots grow unseen throughout the astral oceans, amongst the natural machinations of worlds, and even within every living being, to form conduits that natural philosophers call ley lines. It's been proven time and time again that these ley lines are the means by which arcane energies and magic infuse the cosmos. What most don't agree on is how this tree came to be and why it exists in the first place. The noble Hellenists of Fideltia believe etched into the bark of the tree is an ancient contract made when the cosmos was but an idea. Along with the other three prime signatories, the God Queen cultivated the tree into the divine contract and wrote into being everything that was and will be in the cosmos. To the Hellenists, it's the cornerstone of their religion. Though the tribes of Quilion are as diverse as their spiritual practices, they all suggest that the tree is a remnant of the previous cosmos. It never came to be, but has always existed. Some of their ceremonial rituals involve the participants ingesting a drug called moquila and traveling through the Forest of Dreams to seek the tree for guidance. And among the aloof spiritualists who make up the philosophy called Wanderlust, it is taught that the tree was planted by the first travelers. Immense beings that traverse from cosmos to cosmos, tending, planting, and exploring. They say these first travelers still linger here, and to find them, one only needs to look into the sky and feel their pull. Suffice to say, the jury is still out, but that hasn't stopped the cosmos from continuing to function in its mysterious ways. And it certainly hasn't stopped the diverse peoples across it from contemplating, deliberating, and debating as to what its purpose might be. Whatever you may believe, dear listener, the cosmos is a vast place, and this codex seeks to provide you with a basic understanding of it as it stands today. Illustrations across the age by artists, philosophers, and traveling sailors depict the cosmos in numerous different forms. What most rational thinking people have come to a consensus on is that the cosmos is spherical. Of course, this hasn't always been the understood makeup of the cosmos, as is demonstrated in Horatio Anaximander's seminal work titled A Treatise on the Natural and Self-Evident Design of the Cosmos. It theorized a colluvio-centric model of the cosmos. But as the cosmos has expanded for the people within it, so too has their understanding of it expanded. When studied, natural philosophers have found that it is an all-encompassing sphere, with a plane of arcane energy that makes up the outer edge, a vast ocean of space that forms the interior, and an undulating dark mass in the center. It was first theorized by Theodore Ribot that a world begins its life as a mass of chaotic energies within the outer edge of the cosmos. Preliminary readings taken by the explorer Elsa Chirolo during her 1266 voyage suggest that despite how wild and formless the primordial boil may appear, the energy that makes it up is actually significantly weaker than found elsewhere in the cosmos. Many of the precursor worlds that form actually don't survive, and their potential energies return to the chaotic boil below. If a world does overcome the chaos of the primordial boil, it begins to rise towards the center of the cosmos. The energy it gathers a constant measure of how high it may go. But before it emerges upon the astral ocean as a fully formed world, it must pass through the edgelands, a band of space above the primordial boil, where precursor worlds linger as they coagulate into a stable form. It's here we see molten rock harden into continents, errant gases form into atmospheres, rains fall, ecosystems evolve, life begins, and eventually, sapience appears. The worlds that stabilize, rise above the edgelands, and reach the arcane oceans are diverse. Their continents, seas, Ecosystems and inhabitants are never the same. Regardless, there are a number of similarities that natural philosophers and explorers have observed throughout history. It seems no matter where in the cosmos they are, all animals evolve some form of sapience. It's theorized this may have caused the lack of predation between animals. Almost all of the people of the cosmos share a plant-based diet. Not only that, but many natural philosophers and even arcanists claim worlds are actually concentrated nodes of arcane energy. These nodes are connected to each other by ley lines. It's these natural pathways that allow the peoples of the cosmos to rise past the atmosphere and sail beyond the seas of their worlds. Although ecosystems are diverse between each world, their climate seems to shift across a spectrum, from tundra to temperate to tropical to arid, as they rise higher and higher towards the mysterious dark mass in the center of the cosmos, often called the Black Spot. Centuries ago, the ancient arcanist Hopilo Anura observed a phenomenon in the skies of Colluvio he described as a spectacular display of colors and lights against the darkness, like colored clouds looming in the sky. Many modern philosophers suspect that what Hopilo observed was a world as it reached the end of its life cycle and collided with the black spot, creating a nebula of arcane energy. Little is truly known about the black spot beyond theories and speculations, as any explorer brave enough to venture that far above has never returned. Of course, much of this observed cycle is limited as well by the newly formed transcosmic Byway, which has locked 8 worlds to each other, thus halting the natural cycle of the cosmos. Preliminary observations indicate no other world can rise past the net of ley lines that make up the transcosmic Byway. What that means for the rise and fall of energy inherent in the cosmos is still yet to be determined. Before the formation of the transcosmic Byway, the arcane ocean was a harsh and dangerous place to tread, dear listener. To escape the bubble of atmosphere around a world, one needed a ship equipped with a device called an energy ballast. Though it has been invented a number of times across other worlds in the cosmos, the idea behind the ballast remains relatively similar. The device works with the natural flow of the cosmos to raise or lower a ship in astral space through its use of arcane energy. If one has the fortitude to brave the wilds of the arcane ocean, one can reach almost anywhere with a ship equipped with an energy ballast. It's now known that the Ika of the archipelago world Selagaia were the first to utilize an energy ballast to escape their world. Ika are tall and lithe, with skin patterned in dark greens and browns that knot and twist as they age into scar-like tattoos across their body. Only some of them have tails that lend to their balance upon the seas, but all of them have pointed ears and jet black hair. The arcane arts and magic play an important role in their proud warrior culture, and some scholars posit this is what led the ingenious people to reach for the skies. Wanderlust is the umbrella term for their spiritual practices. Each tribe has their own nuance of wanderlust, but collectively followers seek enlightenment through exploration of oneself and detachment from worldly matters. Due to the subtle differences in wanderlust and the Ika people's propensity towards warfare, the tribes of Selagaia have remained stratified and fractured throughout much of their history. About 24 years after the Ika made their maiden voyage into the astral ocean, the tribe Hok Molak met a ship manned by Amphling from the swamp world Colluvio. Unlike the Ika people, Amphling are short of stature, and their moist skin comes in an array of colors, from simple browns and greens to vibrant reds and blues. While all Amphling can traverse underwater for extended periods of time, and most have powerful legs they use to leap long distances, only a few are gifted with hardened shells and the ability to withdraw into them. Despite their size, you will find these amphibious peoples to be loud and honorable. They celebrate with the same fervor that they fight to keep their word. Their societies tend towards feudalistic, preferring to swear themselves over to a lord who is bound to work with their best interest in mind. Natural philosophers have noted that in almost all of the major and minor religions on Colluvio, oaths play an important part in rituals and practice. Hellenism, the dominant religion on Colluvio, claims that the god queen Helen wrote a divine contract that denotes how the cosmos will evolve. Most Amphlings try to live their life by this code, one way or another. After the shocking news that there was other life in the cosmos, the three major nations of Colluvio, the Blessed Fideltian Empire, the Queendom of Athadine, and the Bilgewater Republic, began a proxy war with the goal of uniting the people of the cosmos under one banner, theirs. This began when a Fideltian explorer came upon the ocean world Fideltian and its primitive people who call themselves Quilion. Looking through a crowd of Quilion, you might think that you're looking at a variety of different aquatic species, when in fact, they would consider themselves all one people. From what natural philosophers have found, their environment influences their looks. Some have scales, some have tentacles, some have tails, and webbed feet. What they share in common is their need to live in the water and their incredible ability to communicate telepathically. Natural philosophers have struggled to catalog Quilion culture under a single ideal. Not only are they a diverse species, but their cultural and spiritual practices can differ even down to the individual in certain cases. For the most part, the family structure tends to be where cultural and spiritual practices are shared. There are tribes that exist, but they maintain a loose structure that seems able to dissolve if not all are satisfied within it. War and violence are foreign concepts to any Quilion. They just don't fight. When the Fideltian Empire made first contact, the Quilion they encountered welcomed them with open arms. It was clear that compared to the industrialized Colluvio, their world was an untapped oasis of resources, just waiting to be exploited. To prevent an all-out war, the three major Colluvian powers sat down and divided Fideltian between themselves. The peaceful Quilion didn't put up a fight, and within a year, the first wave of Colluvian colonists arrived to the ocean world. War was inevitable, though, and the first hints were seen when the mountainous world of Aeternus was discovered by an Athadine expedition. It wasn't long before they stumbled upon the primitive people of the world that call themselves the Viati. The Viati are humanoid, similar to the Ika in many ways, though their skin tends to range in shades of pale porcelain to dark bronze. Their white hair is their most peculiar feature, as it has a habit of changing colors. The Viati believe the color of their hair reflects the energy of their aura. Tribal elders take pride in an even white hue. Stories and song seem to be the backbone of their nomadic culture, and from the little that natural philosophers have learned, their history and knowledge is preserved through the stories and songs that each tribe recites. When the first Viati tribes were discovered, they claimed they were fleeing something they all called the Swarm. But to the Amphlings, Aeternus seemed as untouched and ripe for exploitation as Fideltian. Huge mountain ranges covered in forests of hemlock split the world into valleys and lakes. The hardwood of the hemlock tree holds a magic within it, and it is the sturdiest wood known in the cosmos. Those fleeing Viati traded their tools, weapons, and relics made of this valuable wood in exchange for passage to Colluvio or one of the islands on Selagaia. Privateers and a few independent crafts obliged the Viati who wished off their homeworld, happy to take the valuable hemlock wood for themselves. As the Viati diaspora began, the blessed Fideltian Empire, the Athadine Queendom, and the Bilgewater Republic hoped to sit down and divide the untouched mountainous world in a similar fashion they divided Fideltian, but the Hemlock Concord was never signed. Bickering and infighting infected the three great Amphling nations, while the Viati people continued to barter passage off their world. The Amphling nations were blinded by the wealth they saw on Aeternus, and took the warnings of the Swarm as myth and superstition. Of course, then it came as a great surprise to them when a Bilgewater trade convoy was assaulted by an unknown fleet of alien vessels made of carapace instead of wood and steel. Only a single ship made it back to tell Colluvio of the attack, and unfortunately, it was the first of many. In a matter of weeks, reports flooded in as the swarm descended upon the poorly defended colonies on Eternus. The swarm is a species of insectoids that seem to act with a single mind. Little is known of the swarm beyond their veracity for war. Many sailors have spoken of their large, yellow-orange compound eyes and the horror it strikes when they charge you in the dark. It's this desire to consume everything in their path that drives them. Any and all diplomats sent to parley have either returned unsuccessful or, more often, not returned at all. In the aftermath of the swarm's strike against the colonies of Eternus, talks of the Hemlock Concord ceased, and a different alliance was struck between the three Colluvian powers. As the Cosmic War began in 1418, the leaders of the Bilgewater Republic, the blessed Fideltian Empire, and the Athidine Queendom came together to form the Amphling Shared Pod. Many critics say this was done out of panic after the news of the slaughtered colonies finally reached Colluvio. It's at least true that, in an unprecedented show of cooperation, the defense contract was written and agreed upon in a matter of months. From that document, the Amphling Shared Pod, or ASP, has evolved into a military and regulatory body that oversees not just Colluvio, but Fideltian, and eventually even Selagaia as well. Despite how fast these words are spoken to you, dear listener, travel by energy ballast is a patient art. Before the Byway formed, it could take months or even a year to reach another world. This had an effect on how warfare evolved during the Cosmic War. Warfare wasn't new to the Arcane Ocean. Small wars have broken out all throughout history on Selagaia and Colluvio. However, even when those conflicts reached the Arcane Ocean, they were localized. After ASP was formed, the disparate Amphling fleets rushed to gather around Colluvio to protect the trade lanes to Selagaia and Fideltian. But no enemy appeared. As diplomats didn't return and scouts also went missing, a pressure built in the Amphling and Ika communities. It was the swarm that eventually alleviated that pressure. Instead of one massive assault, smaller battalions of ships began to appear in the space near Colluvio, Selagaia, and even Fideltian. These battalions would scout the world and then harry trade convoys until some kind of defense was mounted against them. They often fled soon after confronted, not interested in an elongated fight. Many military theorists suspect the swarm was waiting for an opportunity to strike at the heart of the Amphling and held their main force back until such an opportunity arose. Perhaps fortunately for the people of Colluvio, that opportunity never presented itself. Instead, in 1434, the Trans-Cosmic Byway, a network of seemingly calm pathways between 8 worlds, formed without explanation. The event itself was barely felt by most in the cosmos. Unless you were on a ship near one of the ley lines that now make up the Byway, you would have noticed nothing save a tremor as it formed. Those ships nearby were unfortunately torn asunder by the waves of energy discharged as the flow of ley lines changed. According to current theories, a natural fluke caused the ley lines to shift their flow of energy suddenly and created a traversable river through the arcane oceans. This calm river connects 8 worlds, and in recent years, it's been noted that they no longer rise towards the black spot. The concordant 8 that make up the Trans-Cosmic Byway are Colluvio, Selagaia, Fideltian, Mercuria, Naxio, Eternus, Hyokra, and the unnamed home of the swarm. It's only been a handful of years since the Byway was formed, and natural philosophers and arcanists have only just begun to understand it. After the Byway's formation, the Asp fleets stayed on high alert, ready to protect Colluvio from these new pathways, but no assault came. Once brave scouts returned from Eternus with news the swarm had abandoned it, there was palpable relief throughout the Asp territories. Despite this, the fleet has stayed on high alert to this very day. In the grand tapestry of the cosmos, the transcosmic byway has woven threads of unprecedented complexity, leaving us in anticipation of what lies ahead. The byway, a gateway to boundless exploration, has rendered the once expensive and sluggish energy ballast obsolete. Now, a simple engine is your ticket to soar among the stars, available to all who dare to dream. As the Asp fleet stands guard, a reminder of past conflicts, the unexplored awaits your discovery. What will you forge from this cosmic horizon? Seize the opportunity and unravel the mysteries woven into the very fabric of the cosmos, dear listener. The cosmos beckons. Will you answer the call?